Hi, so this video is going to cover how to create a good thesis as well as how to create topic sentences. So with regards to your thesis is the most important sentence of your entire essay. It's what the whole essay should be arguing, all in a nutshell, all in one sentence. So your thesis must include obviously a subject, meaning what it is you're talking about, and an opinion about the subject. So it should always be opinionated. It should be debatable, meaning there should be at least two sides to whatever it is that you're arguing. Substantive, sincere, precise, clear, and qualified. Qualified, we're going to go over that a little later in the semester, but it's just to say that you're giving some wiggle room to your argument. There are three main structures that you can use when you write a thesis. It could be simple, when you're only talking about maybe one topic or aspect of the topic, compound when it's two of them, and then complex is when you're creating a dependent and independent clause. If you say something like, if this is going to happen, then that will happen. That's an example. So that might be used for like a cause and effect paper. It's kind of like the Goldilocks do's and don'ts section that I would really like you guys to, for all of you to examine. So when you do write a thesis, again, it has to have a subject, it has to have an opinion. You also want to make sure that it's only one sentence in length. I'm very particular about that because it should take time to create this perfect sentence. And the more time you take on it, it shows and reflects that you've thought about it. Also, it allows so that you don't have confusion. If you have more than one sentence as your thesis, then it can lead your readers to not really know which sentence that you're arguing is, the main one that the reader should be focusing on. So put all of your important words, everything that you're looking at, all in one sentence, and that becomes very clear for the readers. Has keywords so that it addresses the prompt. That's something that I'm going to talk about in a second. Just make sure that you're writing a thesis that fits the prompt that you're being asked to write an essay about. Thesis don'ts. So you want to make sure it's not too broad or too narrow, meaning it's not so big that you can't fully argue your point sufficiently in a 4-page or whatever page essay. But the same side, you don't want it too narrow that you can really write this paper maybe in a paragraph and it's not really an essay. Then you want to make sure it's not too vague, meaning that you don't want to use words that are too subjective. So like you don't want to use words like it's interesting, because my idea of interesting is different than your idea that's interesting, or boring, or fun, or etc. Right? All those words are dependent on the person, and then that makes it a little more difficult to argue. Make sure that it's not a fact, it's not a quote, and it's not a question. Again, make sure that it's not more than one sentence. And lastly, don't announce. So I never want you to say, I am going to write about, or my essay is about. Don't announce it, just give your thesis. All right. The rest of this paper, and this is what the document that I've provided in this page, the rest of it talks about how to create a good thesis following this kind of template format. So if you like that, if you like having a template, feel free to go ahead and do this. I'm not going to speak through it because I want to go ahead and discuss topic sentences, but I just wanted to make sure that you understand that this is a good way to build a great thesis, and it's a step-by-step process. It's a 4-step process, and you can go ahead and read that at your leisure to try and create a thesis. All right. So what I really want to make sure that you understand is, as I said before, it's really about creating keywords from a prompt. Whenever you're given a prompt, there are certain words that are important in the prompt and certain words that aren't as important. There may be like articles or prepositions or things like that, that really conjunctions, but don't matter. So you always want to kind of hone in on the nouns or the verbs, hone in on the more important words in a prompt that you're given. And then from those keywords, then you can go ahead and create your thesis. That's how the easiest way to build a thesis is, okay, what are the keywords in the prompt? I must have this word, and this word. Okay, those words have to be in there. So now I'm going to go ahead and build a sentence that answers or addresses those 3 ideas. So work from keywords in the prompt, moving into creating a sentence, creating a thesis. So then when you think about this, what's the point of the thesis? As I said, it's about creating a sentence that your entire essay is about, whether your essay is 4 pages, 6 pages, 10 pages, or more. It's the most important thing of the entire paper. So if you want like kind of a visual aspect or a visual idea of what's going on, let's go ahead and make it in the center as a circle or box or whatever you want to think about it. But this is going to be your thesis, right? And you want to say, okay, this is my main idea. Here's my thesis, and this is what I want it to be about. And then after that, you can go ahead and build your topic sentences. Now, your topic sentences, those are going to go ahead and those are going to support this thesis, what you're talking about. That's the purpose of it. So if your thesis is in the center here, then you want to think about your topic sentences as like branching out from that concept. What would fully argue or support that idea? So it has as many topic sentences as you need to support the argument. There's no right amount, as it were, or supposed clearest amount. Usually professors will say go ahead and provide like at least 3, right? So that you get that typical 5-paragraph essay. And that's okay, but if it doesn't need that, or if it needs more, which probably it'll need more, it just depends on the complexity of your thesis to know how many topic sentences that you should create. But that's the idea of, okay, now I need to think about what can actually support my concept. Let me see, hold on. So you can think of it like a like a umbrella effect. Your thesis is at the top and everything is coming down and branching off of that idea. So here's your topic sentence. And then we'll just copy that a couple of times and put it over here. All right. You really should have, I have some people say, okay, well, this paragraph is too long, or this paragraph is too short, or thinking that length has something to do with a paragraph and what it should include. But it's actually not about the size of it or the length of it. It's more about what's within the paragraph. You should only have 1 topic sentence per paragraph. That's it. Only 1 topic sentence per paragraph. And then it's however many sentences after that, right, in that paragraph that is needed to support that topic sentence. So let's say this topic sentence was kind of complex. Well, then you might need to have something like, I don't know, 9 sentences or 8 sentences. It really just depends. And those are usually called like supporting or evidence, proof, all those ideas. That works there. You might then have a paragraph where it's not that complex. Let's say this one wasn't that complex of an idea, so to support it, it really only takes maybe 4 sentences. I've actually never told a student, hey, you know what, that's too much support. That's too much proof. That I think you've gone overboard. No, oftentimes, rather, people don't support their topic sentences enough, and that leads to an inadequate argument, or it's just not persuasive. So you might think, hey, it's obvious, everyone should agree with my topic sentence, so I don't have to support it that much. But on the other hand, I would actually suggest you think of it differently. You think of it in the opposite direction. Assume I, as the reader, or any reader, assume that they disagree with you. Always start with the assumption, okay, my reader is going to disagree. And then it'll force you to support your argument more. It'll force you to create a better argument, an argument that is fully supported and a wider audience would believe. Oftentimes, if you're not supporting it enough, then people who already agreed with you, sure, will agree with you. But you're not going to persuade someone who maybe from the beginning had the opposite viewpoint than you. They didn't agree with you, and thus your paper, because it doesn't have enough support, enough evidence, it didn't change the person's mind, the reader's mind. And so then you haven't succeeded in what you were trying to set out. Okay? So just to recap this idea, to create a thesis, you want to look at the prompt, gather all the keywords in the prompt, collect the important words, and then just put it into a sentence. And that'll create a good thesis. Each of these topic sentences, they're all supporting this one thesis. And within that topic sentence, so this is one paragraph, you might have 8, 4, who knows how many sentences of support to help prove that topic sentence. All right, I hope that fully explained or helped you to understand how to create a thesis and a topic sentence.